What's up, YouTube friends? Now, some of you may have seen on Facebook that recently I made some spooky bow ties for my older brother. Now, he works at a grocery store and his thing is bow ties. And actually, he pulls them off pretty well. So today, I'm going to show you how fast and easy it is to whip up these spooky bow ties. But of course, you could use these for any holiday. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to do it next. So the things you're going to need to make these bow ties my way are 2 pieces of fabric of your choice that measures 5 inches by 10 inches, 1 piece of fabric that measures 2 inches by 3 inches, and 1 piece of fabric that measures 2 inches by 28 inches. If you're making these for children, you can go smaller on the strap. And you're also going to need some bow tie hardware. And I just got this off of Amazon. You can also get it at Walmart. To make these fast and easy, I'll also be using my hot glue gun, my sewing machine with matching thread. I'll also be doing a tiny little bit of hand sewing, and if you don't want to do the hand sewing, you could just use your hot glue gun. And I also will be using my iron and ironing board. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the bow tie. So with one of my pieces of fabric, with the wrong side facing up, I'm going to fold it in half and then just give it a finger press. I'm going to open it back up and I'm going to take each of the raw edges and I'm going to fold it into my crease and give it a press. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. Next, I'm just going to fold it in half the other way. Give it a little finger press. And then do the same thing. I'm going to fold this end to the crease and then fold this end to the crease. But before I do that, this part is completely optional. I'm just going to pink these shorter edges. And then just fold it into that center crease and press. So now you just want to set this off to the side for just 1 minute. I'm going to grab my other piece of fabric that measures 5 inches by 10 inches, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just like that. And since we have our iron out already, I'm going to grab my little piece of fabric that measures 2 inches by 3 inches, and I'm just going to fold that into thirds. Just like that. You could just eyeball it, does not have to be exact. And I'm also just going to pink the edge, and I'm barely taking any off. And I'm just doing it to the 2 shorter sides. Now finally, grab your strip of fabric. I'm just going to fold it in half with the wrong sides touching. And then just give that a press. Next, I'm going to take my strip over to the sewing machine, and with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to start here at the beginning. I'm going to backstitch and I'm going to sew all the way down my strip opposite of where our fold is. I'm going to stop about a 1/4 inch away from my end. I'm going to stop with my needle down, raise my presser foot and spin, and then just sew across this bottom and back stitch. Just like this. So now I'm just going to clip my corner here. So now just using my chopstick, I'm going to turn this right side out. And it can be a little tricky, but what I like to do is just kind of get it started here at the top. I like to use what the Lord gave me, my belly. And then just thread it down on your chopstick. Next, I'm just going to put my chopstick back in there. And I'm just going to push out my corners, make sure everything's laying nice and flat. And then just give this a good press. And you want your seam on one of these edges. If it's not quite perfect, that's okay, because this is all going to be hidden by the collar. And now I'm just going to take my pinking shears and pink that edge, just so it doesn't fray anymore. So now I'm just going to grab one of the pieces to my bow tie. I'm going to make sure that my print is facing the right direction. I'm going to grab my other piece. Right here I have the two folded edges facing up. With my other piece, I'm going to have them so they're facing down. So I'm going to pick up both pieces. I'm going to fold it in half. And then just bring up the edge to meet that fold. So I have it folded in half, and then I'm going to bring this edge back up. Just like that. And if you just give it a little tug, it looks like a bow tie. So now with my hot glue gun, I'm just going to put some glue in the creases. And then as well in the crease on the second piece. Now like I said, you can hand sew this, but I want this to be fast and easy. So I'm just going to use hot glue. Alright guys, so I did make a little mistake on my measurements. I told you that this needed to be 28 inches long, and it does not. It needs to be 22 inches. And if you're doing this for a child, 15 inches should be fine. So I just went ahead and I cut this other end down to the size I needed. So now we're just going to take our little buckle piece. I'm going to thread it through one end and then out the other. Now from our buckle, I'm going to leave a 3/4 inch tail. Now I'm just going to take this over to my sewing machine, and with the 1/8 inch seam allowance, I'm going to sew right along this edge. So it should look like this. Next, I'm going to take my little hook piece. I'm going to thread it on the other end of my strap with the hook facing down. I'm going to take that end and I'm going to thread it back through my buckle. And then I'm going to go through the other hole. So just like that. So now all I'm going to do is take my last piece, I'm going to thread it on there, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to leave about a 3/4 inch tail. And then I'm going to take that over to my sewing machine, and with that 1/8 inch seam allowance, I'm just going to sew right down. Just like that. And if you use matching thread, you won't even see that. I just decided to use the cream so you guys can see my stitch lines. Next, you're going to take your bow tie and I'm going to glue it onto my strap. Now, we did have a little debate when I made these for my brother. He told me that they should go this way, and I glued them on this way. I just think it looks better. Today, I will be gluing it on this way because this is going to go for him. But comment down below on which way you think the bow tie should go. I've actually seen them both ways. And you know what? I lied. Actually, I'm going to glue it this way. It shows more of the ghost, so he can just deal with it. So I just stuck some hot glue in the back, and I'm going to glue it about maybe 4 inches down from my eyepiece. Now I'm just going to take my strap And on one side, I'm just going to fold it over about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm actually going to put a little bit of glue right there. Just like that. I'm going to flip my bow over. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right behind my bow. And I'm going to put the raw edge that I did not fold over on that glue. So now you just want to grab a needle and thread, and I have a knot at one end. I'm going to wrap my strap around my bow. Just like that. And then with my needle and thread, I'm going to come up through my little fold first, and then just tack this down with a couple hand stitches. And as you know, I am not a good hand sewer. You could just glue this down if you want. And of course you want to use matching thread just so that it would disappear. So it should look something like this. So now I'm just going to take another stitch right at the end. And then just tie a knot. Just like that. And just that fast and easy, you got yourself a spooky little bow tie. I hope you liked this video on how quick and easy it is to make these bow ties my way. If you like this video and want to see more of my videos, go down below and hit that big red subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. If you'd like to support this channel, check out my links down below to my Etsy shop as well as all my other social medias. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope everyone has a happy and safe Halloween, and I'll see you next time. Alright guys, so in the beginning I told you this needs to be a 28-inch piece of fabric. It does not. It only needs to be 22 for an adult. And if you... Alright guys, so I did make a little mistake on my measurements. I told you that this needed to be 28 inches long, and it does not. It needs to be 22 inches. And if you're doing this for a child, 15 inches should be fine. So I just went ahead and I cut this other end down to the size I needed.